Three, two, one. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to BlueSync. JD here. You can see in here. Thank you, Tabby. And I was making sure that when I recorded, the audio worked too, so we're good. In advance, pardon my scratchy voice. I'm still. I don't know if I'm in the middle of or getting over some sort of throat sickness, but we will. Only time will tell. So thank you guys for joining me on BlueSync today. We're going to cover a couple topics, kind of like half and half. One, we're going to talk a little bit about BombBomb, and one, we're going to talk about Facebook audiences. And we'll start with the Facebook stuff, mainly because this is probably a review for a lot of people, but there have been a lot of changes in the Facebook audience, sort of what categories they do and don't have over the past 4 or 5 months. And just a refresher for people who are doing a lot more on Facebook than they were even 2 or 3 months ago. There are a lot of us who are starting campaigns from our offices, who are upping how much we spend on our offices, and I want to make sure that not only are the ads themselves good, what we're posting and where and what they look like and where they're sending people, but also that the audiences we're targeting are powerful too, because it's no good having a great ad if you're just going to send it out to everybody. So. And honestly, you know, going back to basics, that's sort of the power of what Facebook has meant to be, is that it is a place where you can choose who sees your ad. You're not just sending it out to everybody willy-nilly. You're picking who your targeted audience is. So this is my test page. I've got a post built here for a listings to leads, what is your home worth kind of thing. So let's just say this is the ad. Now there are some things I would change about this before I actually boosted this post. I would move this banner down to the bottom over here, and probably try to get something without a watermark. Shout out to Amy. I thought I already saw her on here. Yep, shout out to Amy. So I would change the post a little bit, but again, the text, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, whether you like it or not, emojis objectively are doing better in posts than posts without. We've done tests on our luxury page. We've done tests on other office pages. And every time the posts with emojis do better. So some people might not like it. Some people might go too overboard with it, so be careful there. But these posts do well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Boost Post. Now, the first thing I want you guys to do, and as we've been transitioning to a lot of us for Business Manager, this is just in the preview, so don't worry about that. As we've been transitioning from the Business Manager, I've been warning a lot of people about this, but before we do anything else, the first thing I want you to do is make sure you scroll to the bottom, and where it says account, it wants you to make sure it says your office account. CBSR Cedarville, CB Sunstar, Ohio Ruth, whatever office it is that you are out of, make sure that you are first using your ad account, not your personal account. So you're going to switch to, we'll just go to Traverse City. And so now I'm going to make sure that now, when the ad is done, it's going to be sent out to that office ad account. Additionally, whatever audiences you save, which is what we're going to talk about here, they are actually tied to that ad account. So if you create a new audience for your office through the Traverse City ad account, and then you switch it to your personal one on accident, that audience will disappear. So anything you save is tied to your ad account. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on create an audience right here. We want to make sure that if we're doing a link, we want to stay with website visits as our priority, as our goal. Do not worry about this one here, engagement, reactions, comments, and shares. When we were in New Jersey talking to our rep from Facebook a few weeks ago, he said to not use that. He straight up said, do not use that objective. So if you're doing a video, do video views. If you're doing something like this, stick to what they tell you, okay? You got the learn more button. So we're gonna go ahead and pick an audience. So I'm gonna click create audience. Now the first thing they're gonna ask me is for a name. This is purely for you, for organizational purposes, for remembering, excuse me, for remembering what audience is what. This name will not be seen by anybody in the public. Okay. So I'm just gonna call it BlueSync audience 1. Gender all. So as we start to go through here, we can target just about anything and anybody, but we do have to follow fair housing guidelines, right? We can't target specific sex, we can't target or exclude specific races or languages or nationalities, and so on and so forth. So those are going to be the things that we do have to not target or exclude, like I said. So 18 to 65 plus. So your age is going to change depending on the audience you're trying to target. If you're just doing your general open house ads and maybe videos from your office and events, you're going to want to have a pretty big range. You know, you might want to leave it, maybe let's go for first-time home buyers, roughly 24, 25, and then maybe you want to keep it up to 65 plus in your area. If it were a luxury listing, you would probably want to move the age up a little bit, maybe start at around 40 or 45 and end at 65 plus. So you can have multiple audiences, and like I said, that's why you can save them and do them for later. So we're going to keep it here. This is a pretty broad range, but this is an age range where people all in that range buy homes. So location. So we're doing one in Traverse City. So for the sake of it, I'm just going to start typing in Traverse City, Michigan. And boom, it gives me a 25-mile radius around Traverse City. One thing that I want to make clear, it might be a review for some, is that anything under this radius is covered and will be targeted. So I don't necessarily need to add, just for an example, Leland, because almost everything that covers Traverse City, or that is in Leland, is covered by Traverse City, besides these 2 islands in the water and some of the ridge up here. Maybe you want that, that's fine, but I've seen some people have a dot in the middle and then a bunch around it. You don't need to do that because they will be targeted. So we're going to keep it at Traverse City. Again, you can target as many places as you want. You could add Chicago, you could add Grand Rapids, you could add places in Ohio or Florida, depending on the property or the ad. But if you're doing generic ads for your community, then your community is who you want to target. You don't want to make it too specific or too broad, especially if it's just brand ads for your area. So then you get down to the detailed targeting part. This is where Facebook does their thing. I got a question. I want to make sure I answer that question quick. Do we need to be careful with age? Could it be considered discriminatory? So that's a good question, Sarah, and I've been asked that a couple of times. With my conversations with corporate and with and with Facebook themselves, they have never told us that is when going over audiences, we talk about age, and they have not said to worry about that. So at this point, it is not anything that we need to worry about. If and when it is, I will make sure, obviously, to let everybody know, but I don't foresee that happening. I think you start to get in a pretty gray area there. So when we move to the detailed targeting, you've got a couple of options. You can start typing things in, or you can always browse and see what is here. You've got demographics, interests, and behaviors. Demographics are going to be categories we fall into. So marital status, again, I'm not saying you can target these things, but marital status, life events, financial situations, politics, definitely stay away from that. You've got interests, which are going to be like, which are going to be like hobbies, things that you like, things that you are, obviously interested in. And the behaviors are going to be categories that we fall into, things that we tend to do. So just for an example, when you look at mobile device users, people who use Facebook from mobile, people who use tablets, right? So they all serve different purposes. I always recommend going in here and seeing what there is. There's a whole section. This is just me, right? Friends of soccer fans, high content engagement, and moderate. That's just all JD right there. So the other thing you can do, though, like I said, is you can type things in. Now, one that I always recommend adding to any audience you're doing is called house hunting. It's a pretty small audience, but when we did, we used to have people looking for houses, and that was one of them that was unfortunately removed with the big kind of like overhaul a few months ago. House hunting is sort of the replacement. Now, it's a very specific audience, as you can tell. So you're going to need more than that, but you definitely want to have that in there. So then when you're talking about home, when you're doing things, you start to kind of extrapolate a little bit. Maybe people are going to be interested in HGTV, or people who are interested in HGTV are going to be interested in home. Maybe you do DIY, do it yourself, right? And you can see this audience get bigger. We went from 1,000 to 13 to 30,000, or maybe it was 15 to 30,000. Maybe because you do a lot, obviously in Lake Michigan, you add that. You add Lake Michigan as an interest. And now all of a sudden we're in what they call a defined audience. So this is still already a pretty small, or pretty narrow, pretty broad audience, pretty broad, right? We've only got 4 different kind of targets that we're looking for. You can click suggestions, see what they say. People interested in new house, people interested in Zillow. If people are interested in Zillow, they're probably interested in real estate or in home. So again, Zillow and Trulia, you add that. You can add real estate as an interest, full stop. You can see new house, so you can add these things, and the more the merrier to a degree. You want to have when they tell you your audience is defined, that's normally a good vote. And you know your communities too, right? 47,000 in this sort of area for what we have is going to be a pretty decent audience. So I'm not going to go too much further with this, but what I want to show you some of these that I always like doing. I love having house hunting, Trulia and Zillow. People are interested in those, are going to be interested in home. But again, as your audience changes, maybe you're doing one for an Adopt-A-Pet event. Maybe you look and see what they have about animal shelters, animal welfare, animal rights, animal shelter. There you go. Maybe you want to do one for, you do just pets. You look for people who have pets, abandoned pets, right? So as you're doing events for specific things or ads for more specific things, look to see what you have as options to target. Okay, so the reason I show you this is because I have seen some audiences that are literally just 18 to 65 plus in their area, and I want to make sure that our money, our company dollar, is being spent effectively. So as always, if you have any questions about this stuff, you can ask them literally right now, or you can always call me or email me or text me or Facebook me. I'd probably limit it to those things. You could snap me on Snapchat if you really wanted to, but any good suggestions for audience on recruiting? That is a great question, Barry. I will answer that pretty briefly. I would say it depends on what you're trying to recruit. Are you trying to recruit new agents, or are you trying to recruit agents from competing companies? When it comes to targeting, you can add, when you type in real estate, you can do agent, and you can target people who list themselves as a real estate broker. You can target people who list themselves as a realtor, as you can see, as their job title. If you really wanted to, if I type in, I'm not going to do one of ours, if I type in Remax, I can actually target people who are interested there and who are quote unquote employed by Remax. So the short version is that you can target specific companies, Howard Hanna, Remax, in your area, if that's something you wanted to do. If you want to talk more about audiences like that, we can talk more on the side as well. And then of course, like new agents, if you're looking for people fresh off the boat, you might want to do something like fresh out of college, or people who are looking for a new job, stuff like that. But again, those, especially the new agent one, that starts to get a little bit more kind of educated guesswork as opposed to specific perfect categories, if that makes sense. So let's click save here. So now you can see I've got BlueSync audience 1 right here. If I want to pick one of my other audiences, I can, or I can edit this one later and say, oh, I want to take some of those categories out or add some new ones, okay? So any more questions on that? We're going to switch gears real quick to BombBomb, but I want to make sure that this stuff makes sense. And I want to make sure that when you are using, running ads for your office, that you're running effective audiences, okay? Okay, nothing's coming in, so we're going to move over to BombBomb real quick. What I want to show you guys, we're at the tail end of our opening kind of push with BombBomb. We've got a few weeks left, and we have a pretty great participation rate right now, but you know me with these tech tools, I always want more people doing this. Not because I want you to spend money, but because I love this tool, and I want to see you guys take great advantage of it and see your businesses blossom, both as managers and ASCs, and also other agents as well. I mean, that's the great thing about this, is that it's usable on just about every level. So I want to show you guys the Gmail integration right now. You can see that I integrated it. It was 2 boxes. Click here, sign in, click here, and now when I go to Gmail, BombBomb is part of my Gmail experience. I've got a couple of things I want to show you guys here. One, when I click compose on an email, I added a label. Whoops. When I click compose on an email, I can click this BombBomb thing right here, and all of my options come up. I can record a video. I can, I'm trying to get to the other ones. I can snippets. Snippets are pre-recorded videos. So maybe I record 3 or 4 ahead of time, and then I just sit there with them. And then when I'm ready to do them, I can just click on snippets, pick the one that I want to use, and send it out. I don't even have to record a video live. I can look at the schedule for videos that I have. I can reply with one, or I can just click record. And you'll see the little BombBomb video thing pop up right there. And now I can record a video. So they make it very simple for you to do. Additionally, I mean, if you really want to, you can just click the send video, and if all you want to do is send a video, and again, the record video thing will pop up right away. You can say, wait for a second, Hey everyone, JD here. Just want to remind you that we have a big announcement at our sales meeting next Tuesday at 9. I know that some of you guys don't like to come to those, but I promise you this is going to be a great one, and you're going to be really upset with yourself if you miss it. So, Tuesday, 9 a.m., be there. I'll see you then. Bye. 14 seconds it took for me to record that video, as opposed to another reminder. If I want to re-record it, awesome. I kind of want to change that thumbnail, because I don't think that's a great thumbnail of my face. Not that there's going to be a good one, but let's go ahead and pick there, thumbnail. Yeah, that's much better. So then I click save. And again, the great thing about BombBomb is that it does not just send a link to a video. It shows this big photo, it animates, and you can click here to play it immediately. When you get a chance to, okay. Bambi, we'll address that in a little bit, okay? So you can add the recipients, subject, etc. So like I said, they make it really easy for you to shoot off the videos. But again, one of the big things that I want to stress to everybody is that it's not just video that you get with BombBomb. They have one of my favorite things, and what I see a lot of people using it for, is the tracking. So you can see right over here on this right-hand side, every email that I send through Gmail, not just with BombBomb, with my Gmail, I can see when that person opened it, and I can respond accordingly. I can send them a video afterwards. I can see how many times they opened it. This is a long correspondence I've been having, so you can see it's been opened back and forth 169 times. But what this allows you to do as an agent is you send off a little video, or you send a new listing to one of your clients, and maybe they don't open it for a day or two, but when they finally do, you can look at that and say, oh, they just opened that. Maybe now is a great time for me to follow up with them. Because now I know that it's in their minds. They just looked at it. So I could just say, hey, just wanted to reach out, see how you guys were doing, and I didn't know if you got those listings earlier. And it's going to be one of those sort of like, oh my gosh, how did you know sort of moments. So the tracking is great. The integration is great. They also have a new mail app, which I will kind of show off on another date. But I really want to get one last big push for our BombBomb account for our agents. So if you guys have agents that you think would benefit from this, who you think would do great on this, send them my way, have them sign up, and we're here to help with whatever they need with it. But also, we want to see you guys at your offices using it too. So we've got like I said, one last big push for the next couple of weeks. If you have questions about it, let me know. Please talk about this at your sales meetings, managers and ASCs. Take 2 to 5 minutes, just go over what it is, play the video that they sent out, or if you need that video again, send it, let me know and I'll send you the video, but get this in front of your agents. We have a lot of stuff that doesn't always get 100% trickled down, and I want to make sure we get this out there. So that's what I'll end on. Should MNs have an account so that we can know how to use? Sarah, that's a great question. Should ASCs have an account for when you say you want us using it? Yeah, so that's what you guys are both asking. So like I said, it could be used on multiple levels. Maybe your manager and you as an ASC have an office account where you use it for announcements for the office. You use it for congratulating certain agents. Managers can use it to get in touch with those agents who don't show up to their meetings. Hey, you were the one person out of 8 of us who didn't show up to the meeting this week. Come see me. You could do it as like a detention sort of thing. But my point being is that make sure, there are many uses for it outside of just agent to client. There are a lot of internal uses for it as well. So Sarah, talk with Mitch and Lynn. Say, hey, is this something we could use as an office? Is there a benefit here for you guys to talk with your agents, for managers to talk with potential recruits, and then, of course, for ASCs to send out company announcements or office announcements as well. So we're already 4 minutes over, so I am going to stop there. Follow up with any questions you guys might have. As always, thank you so much for your time. I will see you guys soon. Have a great December weekend.